When I first played Pix the Cat back in 2014, I instantly fell in love. It was an intoxicating mix of Pac-Man, Choo Choo Rocket, and that classic snake game, and I spent a few weeks hopelessly addicted to running the mazes on the PS Vita. In fact, I liked it so much that I even named it the 6th best game of the year, gently nestled between Sunset Overdrive and PT. Now it's making the leap to the Nintendo Switch, which would seem like a perfect fit. It has the same retro look, the same stylish mini-games, the same challenging levels, yet there's something holding this game back. Spoiler alert, it's the D-pad. Pix the Cat is a simple game that's hard to put down. You play the titular kitty cat who's on a mission to collect all the little ducklings and safely guide them to a protective home. The trick is that you only have a few minutes to race through as many levels saving ducklings as you can before time runs out and you have to start over from the very beginning. This quickly turns into a game about memorizing the maze layouts and finding the right path for maximum points. Now, there are a few things standing in the way of you just picking up a bunch of ducklings and dropping them off. For one thing, there are enemies in the form of skulls floating around the maze trying to break your combo. There are also spikes and other familiar obstacles. However, the most common hindrance ends up being the little ducklings themselves. They'll follow your every move, which can severely limit the room that you have to move around and can even trap you in with no place to go. And you can't just pick up the ducks and then drop them off in any order. The idea in each stage is to collect all the ducklings first, and then find a home for them. Otherwise, you'll lose a bit of your score multiplier in speed. This is how you end up earning the high scores and going through more and more stages. So let me tell you, slowing down is a big deal. If you can manage to maintain your momentum and top speed, you'll end up going into fever mode, which is where you can headbutt those skull enemies out of existence for bonus points. The main game is split up into several different difficulties, going from the starter to main course to dessert. What I like is how all of the single-screen mazes are connected to one another. Once you've completed one stage, you'll find the exit that shrinks you down and shoots you into the next puzzle. You just keep getting smaller and smaller as you complete the stages, and you can even grow bigger by exiting the wrong way. Not that you'll want to do that, since every second counts when you're vying for a high score. For those looking to escape the standard mazes, there are a number of alternate modes that'll change up the rules in dramatic ways. For example, Nostalgia mode makes the game look like a 1930s cartoon and has you trying to collect all the little duckling eggs before you get trapped. There's also Laboratory mode, where you play a blue creature trying to collect a bunch of these see-through cells. The trick is that you can only move once you hit a wall, so you'll need to figure out the fastest way to pick up all the cells and drop them off in a row. And just like the previous ports, there's also an arena mode that lets you go up against 3 friends in a competitive game of Pix the Cat. So the memories of these levels and modes all came flooding back to me as I played through the Switch version, but something felt off. I remember spending hours trying to unlock everything and beat my friends' high scores. Yet I found that I wasn't as motivated to do it all over again just 5 years later. Could it be that I've changed as a person? Maybe the game's less fun than I remember. What's going on? After spending a lot of time with this Switch version, I came to the realization that the problem isn't me, but rather the gameplay. Pix the Cat is the type of game that lives or dies based on the D-pad, and that's a real problem for the Switch. Neither the Joy-Cons nor the Pro Controller are up for the job when the game hits high speeds and demands pinpoint accuracy. This is a problem I've expressed a few times before, but the Switch just doesn't have a very good D-pad. I'm telling you, it makes games like this almost impossible to play on a high level. I found my character bouncing all over the place and constantly going in the wrong direction, which is especially frustrating in a game where every move counts. Look, maybe I'd be more forgiving if this was my first time playing Pix the Cat, but it's not, and I know how well the game controls on other systems. Now, it could be that there are third-party controllers with D-pads more prepared for this type of fast-paced arcade game. I certainly hope that's the case. The Switch feels like a perfect place for this type of game, so it's disappointing to see Pix the Cat let down by the system's hardware. It only took me a few seconds to remember why I loved Pix the Cat all those years ago. It's a speedy little maze game with a great sense of style, a catchy soundtrack, and a bunch of fun modes to master. It's also incredibly hard to put down, especially once you've started to memorize the stages and figure out the right paths. The problem is the Switch's D-pad isn't up for the job. It's fine at low speeds, but the moment things heat up, the titular kitty cat becomes nearly impossible to control. Pix the Cat is a game I recommend to almost everybody, but if you have the option, pick the game up on a system with a better D-pad. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. What's your favorite maze game? It doesn't have to be something like Pac-Man, because there are a whole lot of games that have mazes in them. Hell, Super Mario Bros. Has a maze at the end. So let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on a review of Redeemer, as well as a new episode of Nintendo Power Uncovered. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.